What's up, Hack fam? Let me show you why this is a real Mercedes. Hack Dog, you ready for this review, buddy? Let's get into the review where it's your car, my views. In 2020, the CLA was redesigned. So the exterior changes are your sleeker LEDs, reshaped grille. You've got these slits on the sides of the bumper, the front and rear. When you look at the rear on this car, it's also redesigned. You have the license plate holder that's on the bumper now instead of the trunk. You also have these slits instead of those larger openings that you had on the first generation. Overall, I think with side profile, front and back, they've actually done a very good job. It's matured for its age, and the second generation looks up to date when it comes to the exterior. The way this CLA 250 is packaged out, the base price is 43,600 Canadian, but this is north of 60,000 once the packages are added. And the list of options on this is quite long. And when you open the door for the first time, some of you might find the cabin to be a little tight. That is not the case at all. There's a lot of options for your seating position, your steering wheel position, so you can definitely adjust it to how you like it. It provides you with all the functionality within arm's reach, and that's where it shines. And it seems like Hackdog is agreeing, correct, buddy? Yeah, Hackdog agrees. It does give the Audi A3 and the BMW 2 Series a tough competition when you're talking about the interiors. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Which one is the best interior and which one would you choose? When the first generation CLA came out, a lot of people thought that this is not a real Mercedes. This doesn't apply to the second generation at all. This is definitely a real Mercedes with everything that a Mercedes should have. Yes, there are some cost-cutting tactics that every manufacturer uses these days. This car is definitely geared for millennials, and Mercedes wants the younger generation to come and try out the ecosystem that they have. Compared to the last generation, you do feel a difference in the suspension. It's less firm, but that doesn't mean that it's too cushy. It's firm yet comfortable, and added with these seats that I'm on, I think it just gives it a more sporty feel. Yeah, you have to give it more feedback when you're cornering. It's not as precise as the BMW or the Audi. You do have to give it much more feedback. It's still very decent handling. It probably handles better than most of the cars out there. It's just when it's Audi's A3 and BMW's 2 Series, they do offer better precise steering. But compared to the previous generation, this does have less body roll because of the dimensions and the stance that it has because of the redesign. In sports mode, you'll see that it holds the gear longer. So if you're looking to overtake on the highway and stuff, it's actually very useful. Comfort mode, the steering feel is really numb and the feedback is minimal, and the transmission just feels a little confused. The dual clutch transmission, I just find it more satisfying than a regular 8-speed. I just find that when you're shifting in a dual clutch transmission, it's just more satisfying each shift and each downshift, because the way it kind of jerks, for some of you, you might not like it, but it's minimal on this when it's shifting or downshifting. The cabin noise on this is very decent. It's not too loud. It's enough for you to have a very comfortable and quiet drive on the highways, or even if you're in traffic. Mercedes didn't cheap out on using inferior materials or cheap quality materials. It has that Mercedes quality for sure. The only thing I do think they did cut corners when it comes to cost cutting. One of my favorite features, hello Mercedes.
How may I help you?
Lower the temperature to 20 degrees.
I'm setting the temperature to 20 degrees.
It actually listens and understands what you're saying, which is good. My seat is not all the way up, and I can clearly see what's going on in the front of my car. That's something I suggest if you're on the shorter end of the spectrum, you will appreciate how adjustable the seat is. For those of you who are interested, I did a Mercedes controls tutorial not too long ago. What they've done here is they've actually made it less confusing. They've only used one stock instead of 3 that they were using in previous cars. Then the front cup holders, what I really liked is that you have a button for the right and the left. So if you have something that's smaller and you think it will move, you just hit whatever side you need and it pops up and just keeps it in place while you're driving. So very neat feature, and I think that is something most of the manufacturers should follow. I'd like to thank Mercedes for really changing up the heated steering function that they had previously. This actually tells you if it's on or off instead of you trying to figure out while you're driving if it's on or off. And you have, just like the previous videos that I did, you have to actually see if the light is on or off. Mercedes lineup, if you've been following them, they've been doing this one big display in almost all their high-end luxury models, and introducing this in a CLA, I believe it's a very good step in the right direction, because your younger buyers who are more tech savvy will really appreciate it. The display, not only does it look stunning, it actually has a touch screen which is very responsive. Just use it like a tablet and you can just keep on scrolling through the options just like you would in a tablet or a cell phone. The parking brake positioning is spot on. You don't have to go down, it's right within arm's reach. So if you need to release it or if you need to put it on, it's right there for you whenever you need it. I had mentioned these funky vents when I was talking about the interior initially. They don't just catch your eye, they actually function, and it's a very easy function. So if you want air, you just rotate anti-clockwise. If you don't want air, you just go clockwise. For a compact luxury sedan, the panoramic sunroof really brightens your day, and not just my day, it brightens up the whole car and makes it look roomier when you're driving. It just adds that feel of warmth and comfort along with brightening up your day. If rear foldable seats are something that you look for in a compact sedan or even any kind of sedan, this doesn't have any foldable rear seats, so you are kind of limited in carrying the amount of things that you can carry in this car since the seats don't fold down. I do find that in comfort and eco mode, the car is too lazy and relaxed. If you're okay with that, nothing to worry about. There is no power tilt steering on this. You have to do it manually. So Mercedes kind of chinched out on a $60,000 plus vehicle here. Maybe it's to do with the car being sportier, or it's just to cut costs. Not sure. If anyone has any idea, let me know in the comment section, because that's something I'm used to with Mercedes, and not having that kind of sours your taste. For the passengers in the back, not only do you have like less headroom because of that sloping roof, you will find that you have no side storage for putting anything on the doors, like inside those doors, so you can't put a water bottle or anything in the doors. The absence of a power liftgate might not be a dislike for a lot of us. The reason I chose it as a dislike is because Mercedes has gotten its customers used to a lot of things. That being absent, I'm not sure if it's because it's an entry-level model or if it's a standalone option, but that is something to look out for if you're looking for one and if it's something that you want to have. Technology wise, I think you can't go wrong with this. It has really good features, especially with the packages that it has, and there's a lot of things you can customize. So if that's something you like, this might be something that will interest you. When it comes to the performance, the handling and everything, it is slower off the line or acceleration is a little slower than the BMW and the Audi. But you're not buying this for acceleration. You want the overall package, the overall experience, because there's better models for performance that all three brands offer. Compared to the Audi and the BMW, it does lack a little bit. If you're one of those people who travels a lot and gets stuck in traffic a lot, you might find that this transmission can get annoying, like over long periods of time, if you're not going at a decent speed. So if you have to stop and go a lot, it might get a little annoying for you. The suspension is very good compared to the last generation. They've tweaked it a little bit. It doesn't feel too firm or too cushy. It's the right amount of firm and comfortable. The first generation was the only entry-level model that was available, but now you have the A class as well. So if you don't want to spend this much, you also have the option of an A class if you want to like try the Mercedes brand out. But to answer all your questions, yes, this is a real Mercedes, and it has grown up in 2022.
How can I help?
Subscribe to Half-Ass Crew.
I'm sorry, but I can't help you with that right now.
If she can't help me with that, I'm sure you can. All you have to do is like, subscribe, and comment on my videos.